Hello, everybody. My name is Darius Brown. Welcome to The Deep, where Darius explores everyone's purpose. My name is Darius Brown. I'll be guiding us along this journey of exploring this weird, scary age between 18 and 24. Um, I really wanted to start this podcast because I feel like a bunch of people our age really don't know the ropes or really have any idea or have any experience doing the things that we're doing. And really, I just started it for myself because I just want to get to know the rhyme and reason behind everything and the reason why everyone does everything and the best ways to pursue this part of our lives because it's such a scary part of our lives that no one really knows how to do things or what to do or any of those things like that. So I wanted to start this podcast really just to help everyone our age and really just to like look back on a couple years ago and see what I've done and how I've grown and see if I can share my story and help someone who might be struggling with their part of their lives. Um, like I already said, I'm Darius Brown. I'm 22 years old. I am finishing my senior year at East Carolina University, studying sports studies, minoring in communications. But really, I'm just like a normal guy who are experiencing life just the way you are, or anyone who's watching this podcast right now, and just seeking answers to the questions that we all have between how do I buy a car, or was it like moving to a big city, or what is it like not knowing what degree you want or how you want to pursue your future life after college or even after high school. Like all those things are scary things that we're going to talk about on this show, and hopefully I can get some people on this podcast that know a little bit more about it than I do but can help all of us understand better. I believe I am a credible source in that I've gone through a bunch of stuff from even 18 to now, but really my entire life, just having different things happen to me, where it be um, having a blended family between my dad, my mom, my stepmom, my stepdad, moving to a bigger city, quote unquote, from my little old town, Statesville, North Carolina, between switching my degrees two, three, four times, relationships, having dogs, moving in to an apartment by myself, all things that I've done, which I can speak on a little bit, which we'll go more into detail as the episodes progress, but we'll just see how it goes. Really, the structure of this podcast is going to be I'm going to try to get as many people as I can on here that will be able to expand upon everything that's going on and everything that's happening with the world and like the best way to pursue the world, because I feel like a bunch of things happen in this short span of our lives that is just like unexplained, or there's not really a roadmap to get to doing those things. So I'm hoping that this podcast helps a little. This first episode is really gonna be just us talking about getting comfortable in the uncomfortable. I feel like this is a super important topic to talk about, but not really something people understand really until you have to face an uncomfortable situation. Um, a perfect example is moving cities. Whenever I was younger, and 18, 17 really, right before I graduated high school, I went through a super hard time in my life for about 3, 4 months where I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I know that I was thinking about wanting to be a nurse, but I wasn't really fully committed to it. But I was like, you know what, that sounds like a good idea. I liked how much it paid. I liked that I could help people. Because if you don't know me personally, I'm probably like a top five caring person. Like I'll literally do anything for anyone else. And I know a lot of people who are like that, but I kind of put myself on the back burner a lot of the times. So, um, when it came to deciding what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it was kind of a hard little step that we had to go through, that I had to go through personally, me and my family. But once I feel like I gotten older and experienced and just really experienced life between moving here and to now, like I feel like it's helped expand what I wanted to do. And I feel like if I never made the trip, or was scared, or was uncomfortable of moving cities and pursuing what I wanted to do, and I would just have never have gotten all the things that I have now, which is an amazing girlfriend, dogs, and family, Never would have started serving. Shout out all my server friends. I would have never realized that sports is my passion and I had to pursue it. Speaking of sports, really, like that's like I've done sports, played sports, talked about sports, breathe, eat, sleep sports my entire life. But growing up, it was always weird because I wanted to do something with it, but I wasn't sure how I could and it be a sustainable job. As I've gotten older and experienced and came to a university and realized there was pathways and things that I could do, it helped me realize that I don't have to fit a certain qualm or a certain like group to do these certain things. I know a lot of people kind of feel like there's a certain way you have to pursue life and go into life. There's not really a set boundary. Me and my girlfriend and my stepmom were talking the other day, and we were talking about how not everyone's paths are linear, and I feel like that's a super big thing when it comes to being comfortable in the uncomfortable, because growing up, all you see on TV and social media and things like that are like people succeeding and just doing things, and you always wonder how they did that or how like there's a certain way to get to there, but there's really not a certain step by step way to do it. I feel like that's like the biggest lesson that I've learned since graduating high school and like till now, is that you really, the world is truly your oyster and you can do any of the things that you want to do, but there's not a certain way that you have to do it. I'm still kind of struggling with this concept because I want to be a sports broadcaster hopefully soon, or like pursue something in sports media, but there's not really, I've like taken the classes and looked at the TikToks and done all the social medias and done all the things, but I don't really haven't really like found a step by step way. I've looked at people's like people who are famous like Joe Buck and Mike Tirico and everyone like that to see how they've gotten to a certain place, and not just like those people's steps and paths aren't even close to the same. So um I just hope that we can, as you listen to this podcast and you understand a little bit better that not everyone's paths are the same, but feeling comfortable in the fact that you know that you don't have to do it the same way as everybody else has to do it. Thing two that is a big step that a lot of people have to make or feel forced to have to make is leaving their hometowns or like moving to a bigger city or a university or something, because they feel like that's like the only way to get to your next step. It's like a double-edged sword in the fact that I've benefited greatly from moving from my small town to this big city and experiencing different people. Like not everyone's steps are the exact same. Like you don't have to do that to be successful. You can take online university, go to community college. You can not go to school and do a trade or whatever. Like all the steps and all the things, make them perfect for you, not try to fit a certain agenda, because no one's steps are the same. And it kind of ties back to when I was struggling at a younger age trying to figure out what I wanted to do, because I had a bunch of older friends and a bunch of older family members who had done the steps and done the things, but I wasn't sure if that was the right goal or the mindset for me. But I kind of just did it anyways, but thankfully like you live and you learn, so I just figured it out. Another thing too that a lot of people struggle with and have a hard time doing is also, once you do kind of finish your degree, like me, I'm going into my spring semester of my senior year of college, um, is figuring out what you want to do after college. I feel like that's a super scary step too, kind of like I was talking about earlier with trying to figure out if you want to go to a big school or big university out of high school. It's even scarier when after you finish college, you don't really have another step to go to. It's really just you're thrown out to the real world. And I feel like talking with a bunch of peers of mine, um, like trying to find a job or trying to figure out what you want to do or how you want to use your degree in the correct manner is super important and super scary and uncomfortable, because not everyone knows, no one really knows exactly what their next steps are going to be unless you go to certain, unless you have a certain like, oh, I'm going to be a doctor, so I'm going to go to or I'm going to get my doctorate and then go to do my practice here and then go study here and yada yada. But for the 98 other percentile of people who know what they want to do and get a degree in something, but then don't know how to get to that next step, is probably the most stressful part about being my age, because like I said, I've taken classes and have done all the things and learned all the things, but not really sure what the next step looks like. And hopefully, as this podcast goes along and I experience more things and take more classes and meet more people and take internships and stuff, that it helps. I feel like a lot of people struggle with the idea that you don't have to have everything laid out for you whenever you're my age or you're graduating college, because the world kind of just expects you to go out into the world and be productive. And a lot of people just take a year or two to figure out what they want to do, or also the hardships of actually trying to get into a job that you want to do, because you can get the degree and the piece of paper and the experience, but it's getting your foot in the door. I have a friend who's a perfect example, probably like the most qualified person, gotten the degree, did all the extracurriculars, did all the things, but like are still struggling to find that like job, their dream job, or like the next step job that they want to take. And they apply to jobs like every single day and still have trouble like figuring out what they want to do or how they want to do it. I feel like just really just taking a step back and taking a deep breath and kind of just letting it happen as it does and feeling comfortable in the uncomfortable is a crucial step in being our age. So there's always a little bump in the road or little thing here and thing there. If you're listening to this and you're going through the same things that I'm going through or the people I'm talking about are going through, just know that you got it and we'll figure it out and push through it. And everyone finds their way eventually, and just know that there's not really a timetable to. And I feel like that's another stressful part, is that everyone thinks that they have to do certain things in a certain amount of time. My mom is a perfect example. She just started teaching probably 2 years ago, or I guess this is her second full year. But she had never taught. She always talks about how no one, there's not really a set time, because it took her 15, 20 years, but now she's doing the thing that she's always meant to do. And sometimes it takes a super long time to do that. Sometimes, like, even it took me to being almost like halfway done with my degree to figure out that I didn't want to do what I was doing, which was nursing. But I wanted to pursue sports in a way that I can make it a career out of. I feel like just understanding there's no rush, no, like, don't let people judge you for not having your shit together, because they're going through the same things you're going through, and if they're not, then they're lucky as hell, because like everyone goes through their hardships and there's not a set way to do things, so you kind of really just have to figure it out. And after you graduate high school, the world assumes you have it all figured out, but you don't. And that's one thing that I feel like is a super crucial thing to realize, is that it's okay not to know. It's okay not to be okay. And if you need help, seek it. There's that's what this podcast is going to be for, because really, as someone who pretends or acts or kind of knows a bunch of things that I've been taught already, there's so many more things that I want to learn and want to know and want to experience, so I then can help the next group and generation of people who are going through this hard time. And that's why I this podcast is intended to help people, and I'm going to get people on here who have experienced the things, have figured out what they wanted to do, but maybe had to hit a little skirt or a little change in direction from what they were doing, and then found themselves many, many years later. Because the way the world's set up and the way the social media, everyone, you gotta do it this way, you gotta do it this way, you gotta do it this way. If you don't do this, you're bad. If you don't do this, you suck. If you don't do this, you're gonna be punished. Stuff like that. And just don't let anyone tell you that your way is not the right way. Thank you guys for listening to this first episode. Um, we're gonna keep on doing this thing as long as I can. I just hope that I can reach one person, and that one person's life or day can be changed and just feel better about themselves going through this heartache and this hard time. Or if you know someone who's going through this heartache and hard time, please send it to them, because that's what this is for. This is a comfort show, like, where everyone can come and just like relax and like talk about their things that they want to do. And I'm hoping to have more people on, as many people as I can. If you want to be on the podcast, let me know. Um, this is basically going to be an interviewing mostly podcast. Obviously, I'll be on here talking a bunch, but I also want to get as many people who aren't me we've experienced the things already on here as best as I can. So, all right. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I appreciate you guys listening all the way through. I just hope that this message can reach the right person, and I really am just doing it for that one person every episode that can relate and can feel comfort in knowing that I understand your struggle, and that hopefully as more people listen and watch, that they will then understand the struggle and be able to help each other and help me, help you, and you help me. And I appreciate you listening all the way through, and I'll see you guys next week.